So, yeah, today, welcome everyone to today's video. Today we're gonna be doing something a bit different. I'm not gonna be doing like a reaction on some controversial topics. But I want us to watch a video that I encountered last week. Oh no, it's over the weekend, I guess. Today's Monday here. So I think it was on Friday or on Saturday that I encountered this video, Super Mario's Invisible Difficulty Settings. And it's so interesting. It's so interesting. So let's watch it. I've seen a bit of it. I don't remember if I finished it, but I gotta say, unlike my previous reactions where I completely go blindly, this one I know a little bit of it, but it was just so interesting that I decided I wanted to do a video on it and comment on it. Let's see if it comes out. If I don't have enough commentary, I'll probably won't post this, which it's unnecessary for me to say, but
Nintendo has been
I guess I'm thinking out loud. Okay, so let's watch it.
Nintendo has been trying to solve the exact same problem for the last 30-odd years. How do you design the difficulty of a Mario game? Because here's the thing.
And there's something that this video made me realize is that we've never had a difficulty setting in Mario games, which I've never thought about that, to be honest. And I'm playing Mario Wonders now, so it's interesting. I do notice in Mario Wonders that you have like an indication of difficulty for each level, but it's not necessarily that you pick a difficulty, which is super interesting. So right off the bat, that got my attention. It's like, that's true. I mean, we always say like Dark Souls don't have a difficulty setting, but there are a lot of games that probably don't have difficulty settings. Nintendo games being, maybe Mario games being, I don't know. Does Zelda have I know that Zelda has like a more difficult mode, but I don't remember Breath of the Wild. I haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom, but I don't remember if we can choose a difficulty, or is it something like the master difficulty. I don't remember if it's something that you unlock after you finish the game or comes from the get. I don't remember, but I do know that Mario never had difficulties, which is interesting.
Mario means different things to different people. On the one hand, he's a cultural icon, a Hollywood superstar,
super good movie,
plumber mascot for kids.
I need to go to this park.
And so his games must be approachable to absolutely everyone, even as someone who has never played a video game before. But on the other hand, Mario has gathered a rabid fan base of gamers who have been playing his adventures since 1985, and now have expert muscle memory skills for triple jumps, ground pounds, and infinite one-up shenanigans.
Oh, I remember that. Bro, I knew how to do this. I remember all of the like skip levels in Mario 1, I mean. But I never saw it as a method of making the game easier. And obviously, yeah, it's exactly that. Like in games in the NES era, you didn't have a difficulty selection, but not all games gave you the options to make it easier. Like I remember Contra, you had the Contra code or the cheat code, you know, to start the game with 30 lives. And then here, I don't remember how many lives you can get, but you can get like a bunch of lives, making the game easier. And that's so cool. I mean, I've never thought of that in game design.
And so they expect...
Not that I'm a professional game designer, but yeah.
Mario's games to keep pace with their advanced skill set. How on earth do you make a game that's suitable for both of these players and everyone in between?
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try, says Mario's creator Shigeru Miyamoto, it's just not possible to settle on a difficulty level that will satisfy everyone.
Yeah.
Now, in another genre, this might be...
Exactly. Look at Doom Eternal. Yeah, the I'm Too Young, Hurt Me Plenty, Ultra Violence, Nightmare. Ultra Nightmare. And then, I don't know what that means, Extra Life Mode. It sounds like an easier difficulty.
Fixed with a difficulty select screen. You know, do you want to play on easy, medium,
normal,
or
or easy?
But these features are usually created by tweaking some numbers, like the...
This is very recent. Yeah, this is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which I started playing last week. Came out last week, so this is a pretty... I mean, this guy made this video like a day after, something like that.
Amount of health.
That's impressive. Well, I mean, he maybe he was working on it and then played this game and found that this difficulty screen was good for the video and brought it in. Because, I mean, it came out on Thursday, I think, this game. And by Friday, this video was out. Okay. Unless he had the early access or something.
Enemies that spawn. But in a meticulously handcrafted platformer with extremely distinct interactions between enemies and the player, well, that stuff just wouldn't fly. Which is why, in more than 30 mainline Super Mario games...
This is Game Boy. I never played this game, I guess. Is this Mario? Which Mario is this?
Wouldn't fly. Which is why...
Super Mario Land? I think I played Mario Land. Well, I don't remember. Okay. But look, you have an easy mode. Okay.
One has anything even resembling an explicit easy mode. And besides, that's just not really Nintendo's way. Miyamoto says one way is to add an easy mode, but I think the best method is when the player can adjust the difficulty themselves while playing.
Look, I mean, think of this. When I read this, the first time I saw this video, I was like, what? This guy is simply a fucking genius. This guy is a genius. I mean, one way is to add an easy mode, but I think the best method is when the player can adjust the difficulty while playing. Not necessarily like they're playing and going to a menu and changing the difficulty because they encounter it to be too easy, but to actually through playing, and it's so good. You'll see.
How does that work?
What a genius.
Well, that's what I wanted to find out. In order to do this, I played through a bunch of different Mario games. I mean, I'm talking a lot of Mario games. I mean, every single
all of them
mainline entry in the Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, series. Super Mario 2. Yeah, that's brings back memories.
Let's just put...
I don't remember if I played Mario... Yeah, that was the one that I played. Mario Land 1. Not that... I don't remember playing the second, but the first I'm pretty sure I played. I had it in Game Boy.
Just for good measure. That is not going to stay there.
Actually, that was my last console to have. A Game Boy. The first Game Boy. Maybe I should make a video about my
all of this in order to figure out
story as a gamer.
Designed Super Mario's invisible difficulty setting. So, for the 200th time, I'm Mark Brown, and this is...
Oh shit! Oh my god!
A series on video game design.
Don't break. Okay, I mean, so that has value. That Game Boy cartridge. I mean, it's unboxed and everything, but it should have some value, I think. And even if it doesn't have value, I mean, just don't drop it down.
The best
from the height that he dropped it from. I mean,
metaphor for Mario's difficulty design is to think of 3 pipes.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
The central pipe represents the path you must take to finish the game.
Yeah.
To go from A to B.
To B.
In a level, that's from the starting line to the goal
to the finish line.
And in terms of the game itself, it's from the opening cutscene to the final showdown with Bowser.
Yeah.
This is the critical path, and it's designed to be a pretty average level of difficulty.
Yeah.
But then there are the other two pipes. In the lower pipe, the game is easier and more forgiving for new players, and in the pipe up above, the game is harder and designed to test the skills of expert players. And then within the game's design, there are ways to shift between these three pipes.
Within the game design, pay attention to this. We're talking about within the game design. It's not, again, it's not a menu. It's within the game design as you play. That's so good.
If the game is proving too difficult, you can accept some help and drop into the bottom pipe and have an easier time. But if the game is a little too easy, you can rise up to the top pipe and take on the game's more challenging content. Now, this is an idea that Nintendo has used in, well, just about every Mario game, from World to Wonder and from Galaxy to Odyssey. But the exact ways that players can move between the pipes has changed a lot throughout the years. We've seen these methods evolve and change as Mario has bounced between different systems, eras, game directors, and meta-level structures. So let's look at them all by breaking them down into different categories. I'll start
Mario Wonder is so good.
By looking at the top pipe, with the stuff that allows the player to make the game more difficult. And that starts in the levels themselves, with one-off rewards that encourage you to take risks. Take this block in the first underground level of Super Mario Bros.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
When Mario bops it with his bonce, a one-up mushroom appears and starts to saunter across the ceiling. If you want it, then you'll need to speed up, manically dash through the next group of enemies, and make a daring leap to grab the extra life before it disappears into the void. Mario levels are absolutely filled with this stuff, whether that's runaway power-up.
You see, so, I mean, it's very, I don't know if I have a reaction to this video, because it's very, I mean, the guy explains it very well. Game Maker's Tool, I don't know his name. But it's like, you found that mushroom, the one-up mushroom. You don't have to take it. But now, I'm thinking of something. I'm sorry.
With one-off rewards that encourage you to take risks.
So here in this example is Mario Wonder. You have all of these big purple coins. It's kind of a...
In the levels themselves.
It's a little bit of a... you know, it's a little bit of a currency that you have in the game. Now, in order to progress the game, you don't necessarily have to get them. You don't have to get them. Same thing with the seeds. You don't have to get them, but you want to get them. If you want to get them, then you just ramp up. Just by trying to get all of them, you ramp up the difficulty by just playing the game without changing anything, because they throw out all these additional things that are not necessary, but kind of encourage you to try to, do. And I mean, there's a reason why Nintendo is Nintendo. Wow.
That encourage you to take risks. Take this block in the...
I mean, to be honest, you could you could just hit the block next to it or any other block, and the thing will drop, and you can get it. However, same thing. It's adding a layer of something that's completely unnecessary, and you opt in as a player to actually do. So it adds a layer of difficulty that you opt in as you play the game.
First underground level of Super Mario Bros. When Mario bops it with his bonce, a one-up mushroom appears and starts to saunter across.
You see, he could hit one of the blocks here, right? But just the fact that you try to hit the blocks in order to get the one-up, that is the concept that the guy is explaining. Like, you got to get out of your way to actually do something that is not that is not necessary to do, that is not mandatory for you to progress the game.
The ceiling. If you want it, then you'll need to speed up, manically dash through the next group of enemies and make a daring leap to grab the extra life before it disappears into the void.
That's so
Mario
good.
levels are absolutely filled with this stuff.
You don't have to take all the coins.
Runaway power-ups, those colored coins that disappear after a few seconds, or the final tricky leap to the top of the flag.
You don't have to you don't have to leap at the top. You don't have to get to the top of the pole, but you want to. And that's a little bit of a choice that you make. Oh, you want to do it, you want to make it harder on you. You could just run to the pole and just jump on it like from the ground. Oh, but you want to do it from the top. So that's the player opting for the more difficult approach. It's so good. And it's so in your face all of the time. Like when I saw this, I was like, of course, yes. Like it's so in our face, and we never gave it a thought. I mean, I never gave it a thought. I never thought about this. It's so good.
These are all entirely optional, meaning that if you're not confident, then you can ignore them entirely.
Yeah.
But if you're feeling skillful, then you can push your luck and get a reward for it.
Exactly.
This is never more obvious than with the star coins, which were formally introduced in New Super Mario Bros. On DS.
It has always
Every
been.
level has 3 special coins which require extra skill or even more advanced moves. A Nintendo designer said, all of the courses can be cleared without dashing or wall jumping, but you can't get star coins without doing those things or making use of special items. These star coins have become a recurring motif and now show up in just about every Mario game. Perhaps in a slightly different guise, like the green stars and Miiverse stamps in 3D World, or Comet medals in Galaxy 2. Again, these things are entirely optional, and in many games, you can finish the game without picking up a single.
Like in Odyssey. In Odyssey, you have all the moons, and you don't need to collect all of the moons, but I've gone crazy trying to collect all of the moons in the world, and I haven't. I'm not necessarily like a completionist, but I've tried, and it's fucking hard. Like I don't remember how many levels I cleared in terms of getting all the moons, but I couldn't do it in all of them. I do remember that.
Single one. But to an advanced player, they transform an easy level into a challenging obstacle course.
Of course.
You have to risk life and limb to walk away with all 3 coins.
Of course.
Another idea is to reward the player if they can finish a course under specific criteria. Yoshi's Island is one of the easiest Mario games, thanks to a
I never played this one.
regenerating health system that lets you take, well, infinite hits. So it's entirely possible to limp through a level in the most ungainly way imaginable. But the game will score your performance at the end of the stage, and one of the criteria is how much life you have left when you cross the finish line. So if you...
You know what game does this very well and in a way that it's actually absurd? Cuphead. Because Cuphead alone, it's super difficult. But they encourage you to get all of the coins, which you need to buy stuff. Yeah, right. But again, you don't have to get the coins in order to progress or to finish a level. And they encourage you to do parries. And I don't remember what other thing. They encourage you to not get hit and such, because they will give you, like, at the end of the level, they will give you an overview of your score and such, and a grade. So you will get A+, A, B+, B, etc., depending on how you did the level, cleared the level. But it's so good. Now that I think about it, it's interesting because, I mean, I guess Cuphead is the red pipe in terms of difficulty, like the 3 pipes that we had here. These 3 pipes, where are they? Yeah, where the red one is difficult, green is kind of normal, and then the blue is the easiest one. I mean, Cuphead, it's already, the entire game is just the red pipe, right? And you just can make it more red with increasing the difficulty in terms of accomplishing everything.
you want to max out the scorecard,
so
you'll
good.
need to finish the level with almost perfect performance. Score has always been part of the Mario games, of course, a weird relic of its arcade roots, but Super Mario Bros. Deluxe gives each level a par score to hit as an optional challenge, which is a more concrete goal than simply get a lot of points or beat your friends. And in Super Mario Maker's 3DS port, every level comes with 2 medals which add special conditions to the stage, like finishing it while holding on to a certain power-up, or speedrunning through the level under a super strict time limit. These are actually a lot of fun. I'd like to see them come back in a future game. So those are ways to place optional challenges within the levels themselves. But what if we zoom out and think of the game as a whole? In Super Mario Odyssey, you can finish the game after collecting 124 Power Moons. This unlocks the climactic final battle with Bowser on the moon, which wraps up the story. Roll credits,
super good.
The game is over.
Nope.
Except, of course, it's not. Doing this unlocks access to new moons, which are now scattered throughout the game, and tricky additional post-game levels that will put everything you've learned to the test. Basically, the most difficult content in Mario Odyssey doesn't even exist until after you finish the game. So if we think about the game's difficulty curve, Nintendo could have forced players to reach the very end before offering closure. But instead, they stopped the story long before the curve hits its peak. This means that pretty much everyone can see the game through to the end and wrap up whatever little storyline there is in this game, but those wanting more challenge can keep on playing. This is a common refrain in the Mario series. Heck, the very first Super Mario Bros. Ended with an invitation to start a new quest, which is like...
Yes, I remember that. Wow, that you get like the black instead of like the I don't remember what they called. Little walking mushrooms. You get the ones that are like covered or something like that. The black ones. They're not ducks either. Whatever they are.
Like a B-side.
They have a shell. Yeah. The black shell like that.
And level layouts.
You can hit. You can't hit them with a fire.
120 stars in Mario Galaxy, you're rewarded with the chance to do it all again as Luigi. Finishing Super Mario 3D World unlocks 3 more worlds filled with difficult courses.
Super cool.
The infamous Champions Road. And all of the new Super Mario Bros. Games have bonus worlds with more difficult courses hidden after the credits.
So this is a way of ramping up the difficulty that's a bit different from the one that he presented before. This is just a way of, instead of doing it as you play, is you finish the game and then you get more difficult stuff. So it's like post game content, I guess.
Of course, this does mean that expert players have to go through an entire game's worth of pretty easy content to finally get to the challenging stuff. So other games don't make you wait until the very end to access these bonus harder levels. In Super Mario World, certain levels have secret exits that open hidden pathways on the map, some of which go to a mysterious place called Star Road, which hides a bunch of bonus levels that will test your mettle. There's even a secret world within this secret world, a special zone filled with bizarre dream logic levels with the most 90s names imaginable. Tubular, groovy, way cool. Other examples include the challenge mode in New Super Mario Bros. U, which is unlocked gradually as you play the game. And the odd extra difficult courses that are peppered throughout Mario Wonder's campaign. But how about we go one further?
You don't have to do them, but of course.
And make the entire game be designed just for those who are experts at the previous game. Shortly after
Mario
the release
2,
of the original Super Mario Bros., the designers put together a sequel that was full of extra challenging stages with nonsense jumps, BS enemy placements, absurd wind physics, poisonous mushrooms, and warp pipes that can send you backwards to earlier worlds. The entire game is a nightmare joke for Mario experts. So much so that it was hard to market it properly. Miyamoto has said,
yeah, in the US, well,
we're certain that this was a lot of fun for those who played Super Mario Bros. Immensely, but we thought it would be hard for first-time players. So we put a sticker on the package that said, for super players.
For super players.
That wasn't enough for...
That didn't happen in the US.
Or Nintendo of America, who refused to localize the game, which is why
that's why we got the other one.
Different Super Mario Bros. 2 out.
Which was like a reskin of a previous, like of another game. I don't remember what game was, but they reskin a Japanese game or whatever into Super Mario Bros. 2, and that's why it's completely different. Wow, 1988. Jesus Christ.
Side of Japan. Anyway, this idea makes a lot more sense in the age of downloadable content. So, if the old eShop still existed, then you could grab some stupidly hard levels for New Super Mario Bros. 2. Or, even better, the excellent New Super Luigi U expansion pack, which is designed for platforming experts thanks to its tricky stage layout and super short time limits.
And then there's this game, I don't know, I've seen some streamers that do like super hard platforming. Mario platforming, and I don't remember how it's called, but it's extremely hard, and I think it's community based. I don't think it's like Nintendo creating these levels. It's more like people just creating them. I don't know if it's Mario Maker. I don't know if these people just hack the games or mods or something like that, but I've seen them online, and hella difficult. It's very difficult stuff. Like insane.
So these are all ways that Nintendo can make Mario games more challenging. Risky one-off rewards, optional star coins, challenging bonus criteria, post-game content, bonus levels, and expert-level DLC. But what about the opposite? What can Nintendo do if the central pipe is proving too difficult and players need a helping hand?
Give the trick with the lives that we just saw at the beginning. That's one.
Well, one very effective solution is to simply let players choose which courses they take on. Super Mario 64 features 120 power stars littered throughout a number of difficult levels, but you actually only need 70 of them to finish the game.
Exactly.
This means
what I was saying about Odyssey, you don't need to get all the moons to finish the game. You just need like a certain amount. I don't remember how many, but again, for each level, you don't need to get all the moons to get to to pass that level. But if you want to make yours take a challenge, I mean, that makes it easier, right? Because if you just get, if the level requires you to get like 5 moons, you get 5 and you move on, and you get the easier ones, right? The ones that are very, there in your face, you just go ahead and grab them and continue. But then you have the other more difficult, more hidden moons, and
that outside of a few mandatory stages, the player is able to pick and choose the levels they feel comfortable playing. Skip others entirely. And because you can access multiple levels simultaneously, you can put off a tricky level for the time being and come back to it later. This has become a common structure in Mario's 3D outings. You never need all of the stars, shines, or moons to finish these games.
What I was saying.
And so you get to decide which levels you want to play and the order you want to play them in. But we also see the option to skip levels in some 2D games. Whether that's using the warp zones in Super Mario Bros. To skip
and Mario 3, you
worlds,
also have like the flute, I think it is.
Using the map screen in Super Mario Bros. 3 to bypass courses, or using the job list in Super Mario Maker 2 to
I don't know
the
about this one.
with the lowest difficulty
I've never
ratings.
played this one.
Another solution is to change the layout of the levels themselves. In Super Mario World, there are these switch block palaces.
Well, you have the coins too, right? I don't know if he mentions that, but the coins, you can move on without getting the coins, but you get those coins to get a 1-up. But if you don't get the coins, then you just get your whatever amount of lives you get at the beginning, 3 lives. And that's it. So I think that's one mechanism also. that the game uses. I'm sorry, that the game uses as, you know, setting up the difficulty, because if you don't want to get the coins, then you just move on and you make the game easier. But if you want to get the coins, then it might be a bit harder, because, you know, coins might be in tricky places.
Hit the big coloured button and it will populate the world with new blocks that fill in tricky gaps or provide useful power-ups. This makes levels much easier to play, which is a bit like activating an easy mode.
Not a fan of this.
Because you can't undo the action, this doesn't really let you move back and forth between the pipes. Press the button and you're now stuck in the lower pipe for the rest of the game. Luckily, this idea would be revisited more effectively in Super Mario Wonder, with
you
a
can
badge
choose,
that makes some extra blocks appear, but only as long as you're wearing the badge. Take it off, and the game goes back to normal.
That's so genius.
Nintendo can also change the difficulty by letting you switch to a different character. In the Western version...
Well, I've seen this a lot more, where you can pick different characters to play with, and some characters are more difficult than others. You know, when you in games where you get classes, I mean, it might be because of the unbalanced characters and stats, maybe, but I've seen that. Like in Diablo, for example, let's see, I would say in Diablo, it was much more difficult for me to play as a sorcerer than as a rogue in Diablo 4. I don't know if that's intentional or just like unbalanced, which, you know, Diablo 4 suffers of that being unbalanced, especially at the beginning when it launched. Now it's a bit better, but yeah, that happened. I know that Diablo 4 has its own difficulty system, but I'm just throwing out there that layer of, depending on the character you choose, the difficulty changes.
Version of Super Mario Bros.
I don't remember any other game, but I'm assuming that games in which you choose a class might be something. I wonder if Baldur's Gate has that kind of stuff. I don't know.
There's 2. Princess Toadstool is arguably the easiest character to control thanks to
she
her
floats.
floaty jump
Yeah.
that makes it less challenging to land on.
She hovers a little bit when you
goes
jump.
for her appearance as Peach in Super Mario 3D World. This is taken even further in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, where Toadette and Nabbit are dedicated as easier characters.
This guy doesn't even get hit
to play as, thanks to tighter physics, faster movement in water, and, in Nabbit's case, the dude doesn't even take damage from enemies.
Yeah.
Changing the difficulty is as easy as changing character.
Yep.
In New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Nintendo wanted to do something for players who kept dying over and over again on the same level. These players are obviously getting stuck and probably quite frustrated. So, how can they be helped? The solution is the Super Guide. Activate this box and Luigi will show you how to finish the level, notably without getting secrets or star coins.
I mean, I wouldn't say this is a difficulty thing, right? This is more like guidance. I don't know. I don't know if it makes... I mean, it'll make it... Of course, it'll make it easier because it tells you how to do it, but that's not necessarily a difficulty thing or making it easier. It's just telling you how to. I don't know if I agree that that's a definition of difficulty, but I gotta think of that a little bit more in order to put my thoughts together.
He's done. You can either take the L and skip the level, or use what you just saw to try the level again for yourself. This feature would appear again in New Super Mario Bros. U and in certain parts of Mario Galaxy 2 as the
I mean, I guess that makes not the level easier, but to beat the game easier, right? And not necessarily the level. Which the beauty of this is when we're talking about the level, right? That you are playing and you seamlessly can choose to make your experience harder or easier.
Slightly unsettling cosmic spirit. You could perhaps put the assist mode for Mario Odyssey in this category too, as one of the primary features of this system is to show you exactly where to go.
I don't think that. I don't like it. I mean, I understand the concept, and I am pretty, but this is more like accessibility. I don't know. I don't know if spoiling the game is necessarily like making it easier, right? Telling you what to do. I mean, I guess it does make it easier because, I mean, the game literally tells you, hey, this is where you gotta go. And it's easier, but yeah, I'm having some noise in my head because of this. Regardless, it's genius. It's just genius game design.
Arrows. A slightly different version of this system appeared in Super Mario 3D Land. You'll still get an optional box if you fail a certain number of times, but in this game, it provides a power-up, an invincible Tanuki suit, which lets you float forever and smash through enemies and obstacles. If that's not enough, then dying 10 times lets you skip the level altogether. The invincible Tanuki suit is actually a callback to a power-up in Super Mario Bros. 3. Finishing a castle can sometimes make you a P-Wing for your inventory, which can be used to
I remember this. Yeah.
Soar over an entire level.
I remember
like you've
this.
activated a broken Game Genie code.
That's so cool.
A similar assist system appears in New Super Mario Bros. 2, and there's a clever twist on the idea in Super Mario Maker 2's Story Mode, where you can open a toolbox of items and blocks to paint into the level as you see fit. And finally, if you're stuck in a game, sometimes the best solution is to ask a friend to jump in and just do it for you. But what if they could actually play alongside you and help out?
Yeah, this is
cool. That
cool.
was the idea behind Super Mario Galaxy's Co-Star mode, where a second Wii remote can be used to collect and shoot star bits. In Galaxy 2, the second player can even kill enemies. There's also a particularly clever version of this in New Super Mario Bros. U, where a second player can plop temporary blocks into the world by tapping on the Wii U gamepad. And, of course, the multiplayer modes in various Mario platformers let an advanced player help out their less skilled friends as they chill out in a bubble. So if
so they play as you and pass the level for you. I do know in Wonder that if you have the online mode on, you can see other players, and other players can actually help you out. And actually, they can, if you die, you have a few seconds where you can search for one of those players and they can revive you. So, yeah.
Nintendo wants to help out novice players. They can let players choose which levels they take on, change the stage layout to be more forgiving, introduce other characters who are easier to play as, help out players who repeatedly die with a guide, a power-up, or a level skip, or allow players to get a friend to jump in and help out. So, as we can see, simply getting through a Mario level, or an entire Mario game, is supposed to be of a pretty standard level of difficulty. It might change from title to title. Some are slightly easier, others are a little tougher, but on the whole, this should be suitable for an average player. But as you play, there are all sorts of ways to change that difficulty level. Intimidating trials like enticing extra pickups, super hard bonus levels, and tricky optional conditions are there for those who demand a greater level of challenge. Whereas generous assists like invincible player characters, co-op modes, and skippable stages are there to help out players who find the baseline difficulty.
I'm not a big fan of all of the methods to make the game easier, but I mean, I guess I'm the one who will challenge himself a little bit more. But I understand, because actually my nephew, he's well, when I gave him Odyssey, he was just a little boy, right? But he found certain things more difficult, and he actually dropped the game. Like, he didn't want to play anymore because he found it a bit too hard for him. So I understand those kind of mechanics in which you can actually, get assistance, get someone to help out, skip the level, so you can actually continue the game and not feel frustrated and just, drop. from playing, you know? I think it's good. It's super good. It's genius from Nintendo.
Too hard. And so, ultimately, Mario games do have difficulty modes, because we can think of these 3 pipes as easy, normal, and hard.
Yeah.
But they're very different.
I wonder if is this something coming from Nintendo, or is this something that this guy figured out? The 3-hole, like the 3-pipe thing. Wonder if this is something from Nintendo, or this guy you know, used this as a way to explain the game design concept
to a more traditional difficulty setting. There, these pipes are separate and siloed. A player is sorted into one of the 3 at the very start of the game, and typically stays in it for the duration of the adventure. But
unless you change the difficulty, right?
Mario game, the pipes are all connected, and so the player seamlessly shifts between them.
It's so genius.
Play, perhaps accepting help when they become frustrated.
It's so
but then
good.
pushing themselves to take on more challenges as they become more confident.
It's so
and
good.
So instead of asking the player to predict their level of skill before the game even begins, Mario games let players opt in and out of challenges midway through the game, or even midway through a level. At every step
through the level. That's what I like. That's where I like it. Through the level, not necessarily throughout the entire game, which is completely, I mean, it's good. But through the level, like real time, you're playing a level and you encounter 3 ways to kind of go over or finish the level. And you can choose to pick all of the stars or all of the moons or all of the coins, or you can choose not to and make it easier on you. I mean, I love that concept. It's so good.
Journey.
It's mind blowing, and it's so simple too, right? It's something that it's in plain sight, and I never ever realized that that's what the games are doing. It's so good.
This, and Nintendo wants them to say yes, because even though Nintendo adds in all of these features to help out beginner players, it still understands the value of difficulty.
Yeah.
In an interview about Star Fox Zero, Miyamoto said, "Part of the fun of taking on a challenge is that the challenge has to be a hurdle that you overcome.
Yeah.
Simply lowering the hurdle doesn't necessarily mean that the challenge will be fun.
Yeah.
What's fun is you mastering the skill and having that sense of accomplishment, of achieving something that's difficult."
Anyone getting some Dark Souls vibes here? Like, this is exactly what people say about the difficulty in Dark Souls. It's exactly what Miyazaki says about the difficulty in his game. So
part of
I guess he got it from somewhere, maybe.
This 3-pipe design is making sure that players are always encouraged to move up, to stop using assists, and to try taking on harder challenges.
Yeah.
And this is done in a number of ways.
Oh, look at that.
One, assists are usually a one-off temporary help, a thing that helps you get through that one specific level, but then it goes away and you have to do the next one yourself. Also, using assists usually means that you don't get a true reward. In Mario Galaxy 2, using the Cosmic Spirit nets you a bronze star instead of a proper power star. You'll need to come back to get the real deal. In Super Mario Bros. 2, you won't unlock World 9 if you got to the ending by using warp zones. And playing on easier mode in Super Mario Run means your purple coins aren't safe.
So there's a price to pay. That's so good.
Plus,
I want to cry.
Often hides the assists altogether until players truly need them. On New Super Mario Bros. Wii, the developers spent a long time deciding on exactly how many times you have to die before the super guide shows up.
I'm thinking about Mega Man, right? You remember Mega Man? I played Mega Man 11 recently, relatively recently, like a couple of years ago. And I remember you can choose a difficulty. You have some difficulty settings, but also you have the boss order in which you finish the game, that it's an additional layer of difficulty that you set on your own. Because if you do it in the correct order, if you do it in the correct order, then that means that the weapons that you get from the bosses make the next boss easier. So much easier, right? Like, for example, if you, and this is, I'm just coming up with this, like if you're going to fight the fire boss, well, you're better off fighting first the water boss, because you know that the weapon that you're gonna get from the water boss is going to put off the fire from the fire boss. So, and then when you play it, you realize that it actually works. Like, if you just go without the water weapon to the fire boss and just try to kill it, you can kill it. You can kill the guy by just shooting at it, but it's way harder than when you have the right weapon to kill it, because then when you have the right weapon, when you have the water weapon, you just hit him like a few times and he's dead. So yeah, that's another thing that comes to mind.
Nintendo president Satoru Iwata,
and I'm pretty sure, like, for Mega Man 11, they had the difficulty settings, but I'm pretty sure I'm sure that back in the day, I'm certain that back in the day, the Mega Man games like Mega Man 2 on NES didn't have like a difficulty setting. You had to actually know the order. I remember me and my friends will give us, you gotta fight this boss first, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and it made the game so much easier if you did it in the right order. Now, if you didn't do it in the right order, you can still win the game, but it's much harder.
Says it's fine if it appears when you're on the verge of tears, but not if it pops up when you're still brimming with determination to do it.
Yeah.
Getting that timing right is extremely important. Nintendo also encourages players to tackle greater challenges by letting them proudly display their achievements. Ever since Super Mario Bros. 2, the games have used shining stars and medals on the final select screen to let players show off that they finished the game's hardest challenges. Further still, in some games, if you ever use those assists, then the stars on the file select screen will no longer shine. It's a way to stop expert players from giving in to the temptation to use an assist tool.
Interesting.
And finally, Nintendo makes sure that being skillful doesn't inadvertently make the game easier. What I mean by that is, in early Mario games, completing optional challenges would net you useful rewards. In Super Mario World, finding all 5 dragon coins gives you a 1-up.
Exactly.
And in New Super Mario Bros., the star coins let you unlock toad houses with 1-ups and power-ups.
Exactly.
This means that showing skill and proving that you're an
There's
expert
a reward.
player rewards you with stuff that actually reduces the difficulty level. It's a nasty negative feedback loop that inadvertently pushes you out of the top pipe. In more recent games, then, those expert level challenges are instead used to unlock.
So think about that. I don't know if I mean, wow. Think about that. Like, what I'm thinking is the genius behind, you could opt to do the easier way, right? The easiest way, and not get all the coins, and you just fly by the levels and that's it, right? Okay, that's the easiest way, but you don't get 1-ups, you don't get anything else, which at the same time makes it, quote unquote, a little bit harder, or balances out the difficulty of it, because even though you are not risking your game or yourself to doing the challenging coins, or getting the, all of the coins or all of the stars, or challenging yourself to that, you're just flying by the levels. That might make, you might be taking the easiest route, but at the same time you're not getting the rewards. So it balances out the difficulty in a way that it's easier in terms of gameplay, but you make it a little bit harder at the same time, because you don't get as many 1-ups as you could get if you took the harder route, right? So if you make it a bit harder on yourself, you're going to be rewarded with more one-ups, which makes the harder route or the harder way of playing it more achievable, because you feel like, okay, I got more lives to maybe spend trying to make things harder. It's so good. It's so genius. Oh my God. It's so perfect. Wow.
Even more difficult stages. They reward skilled players with even more chances to show their skill.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, this guy, it's better than me explaining it.
From using the assists and encouraged to seek out ever greater challenges. But then again, players don't actually need all that much encouragement to make a game harder, provided it's fun, of course.
Yeah.
Just look at how players create self-imposed challenges like
speed runs,
no coin collection, or the Mario nipple % run. It's good to track the player's achievements.
I've never seen that one.
Of progression, but players will often surprise you in how they find ways to wring out more difficulty from a game.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's finish by looking at how
this
all of this comes together in Mario's latest game, the wonderful Super Mario Bros.
This game's so beautiful. If you haven't played this game, if you have a Nintendo, you have to play this game eventually, whenever you want. I'm not gonna say when they drop the prices, because Nintendo usually don't. They don't have sales on their own games. But yeah, this is just such a amazing game. It's a perfect Mario game, in my opinion.
Wonder. Things start with the character select screen. Mario, Daisy, Toad, and so on all play the same, but Nabbit and Yoshi are cordoned off as easy mode characters who can't take damage from enemies. However, you can switch character at any time from the menu, and you may be enticed to do so when you learn that these easier characters can't make use of the game's fun new power-ups. There's no Elephant Nabbit, for instance. You can also change the difficulty by using the game's new badge system. Some make the game easier, like one saves you from falling into pits, another gives you a mushroom at the start of every level. But other badges make the game more difficult, letting advanced players take on self-inflicted challenges like going invisible or forcing Mario to continuously hop. You can only wear one at a time, and you're encouraged to change your current badge whenever you die. The game's structure is designed to let players pick and choose the levels that they want to play. To finish a world, you'll need to own a certain number of Wonder Seeds. In Pipe Rock Plateau, you'll need 14 of them to tackle the end boss.
Yeah.
But between the levels, secret exits, and even the shop, there are more than 30 of them in this hub.
So
meaning you can skip some stages entirely if you choose. This also allows Nintendo to drop in a few harder stages that advanced players can enjoy.
Oh yeah, I remember this level. It drove me crazy. I was so pissed.
Players can ignore. Nintendo game designer
Look at that.
It's
says, so annoying.
Now, 2D Mario games have been in a format where players complete each course in sequence. But in this title, players who want a challenge can start with a difficult course, and beginners can start with an easier one. Each hub also hides a secret exit, which takes you to a special world, filled with the hardest levels in the game. And again, they're entirely optional.
Yeah, exactly.
The customary end game level, which you can only unlock.
I don't think I've ever done one of these, so I gotta play a lot more and find these secret levels. I want to.
If you've aced every
Look at
level
that.
in the game.
That looks so
that
fun.
Involves getting every Wonder Seed.
So you don't have to get all the Wonder Seeds, right? You just get one whenever you finish the level, but if you can choose to get all of them in the level.
Up all of these 10 flower coins.
Yeah, and the 10 flower coins
of every flagpole.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff is all represented by medals on the title screen, so players can proudly track their progression throughout the game. Also, the game is multiplayer, so you can get a friend to help out. And the new online standee system lets you place down checkpoints at any level.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
In each level, there are lots of opportunities to push your luck, including the 10 flower coins, which are this game's version of the star coin.
The star coin,
and in this game, they don't confer any advantage on the expert players who get them. In fact, in Wonder, it's the less skilled players who are rewarded. If you die, you'll unlock a special bonus Coins Galore level, which gives you a chance to earn some more one-ups.
Oh, wow.
Cash to spend in the shops.
I didn't know that.
Mario Wonder perfectly shows off this excellent bit of design. The main path through the game is of a reasonable level of challenge, but...
And did you know that in Mario Wonder, and this is off topic, but you see this...
The main path through the game is...
You see these blocks with musical notes? So when you walk over them, you hear the different music notes, like... It's so good. With the Pro Controller, they actually made the vibration of the Pro Controller make those different notes. Like, they play the different notes through the vibration of the controller. It's insane.
Is of a reasonable level of challenge, but Nintendo offers plenty of ways to make things easier if the player needs it. And on the other hand, the game keeps offering ways to make things harder, enticing little challenges to keep expert players happy. And it's
like when you do the Wonder Seed kind of levels, some of them get pretty difficult.
Up to the player which path they'll take. But I don't think this shows that Nintendo has finally solved that decades-long problem, and I expect they'll still be experimenting with ways for players to change Mario's difficulty. In an interview for Wonder, a Nintendo staffer explained that long-time Mario designer Takashi Tezuka wanted a system that could change the difficulty level of the entire course in real time at the push of a button. It proved too complicated for Wonder, but, says Tezuka, you never know, right? Maybe it'll be
the next game.
Thank you so much for watching this 200th video.
This was an amazing video.
That is quite the way to begin this 10th year of running this YouTube channel. And to celebrate this milestone, I have made some brand new GMTK merchandise.
Okay.
Let me just.
Okay.
New GMTK t-shirts featuring this, if I dare say so, rather spiffy design.
But show the t-shirt.
So it's got
the
exactly. GMTK logo and little symbols representing various.
It's nice. I like the alien.
And the videos that I've made, and then on the back of the t-shirts, you've got little icons representing the 5 main prongs of the GMTK empire.
Super cool.
A Mario question mark block to represent GMTK videos, a boss key, obviously, a magnet for Mind Over Magnet, the Flappy Bird from the Unity tutorial, and a dice from the GMTK Game Jam. If you fancy one of these, please head over to GameMakersToolkit.com/support, where you can find a link to the merch store, as well as other ways to support me on my mission to provide free, high-quality game design and development information. Places like Patreon and Substack, and a way to donate directly. If you found any value in the last 200 episodes on this channel, then please consider chipping in. Oh, and one more thing. No, I'm not retiring. Unlike a lot of YouTubers at the moment, I'm not going anywhere. I still have so much I want to do. Speak to you soon.
This was a really good video. I really loved it. And I'm gonna... Oh, well, I already gave him a subscription. Let me say all. And let me hit the like. Go ahead. If you're watching, just go ahead and do that too. It was a great video. And I see myself reacting to more of these videos from this guy. Definitely. You know, how just saw it work. I would like to react to that one. This one from for Nintendo from Zelda. This one, how Nintendo designed Ultra Hand. I would like to see that one, but I won't see them. I won't watch them. I would just react blindly to them. You know, this one for Hollow Knight, the world design of Hollow Knight. I would love to watch that one. Oh, Celeste also. Why does Celeste feel so good to play? Yeah, this channel is very interesting, and it's right down my alley. of the type of things that I like to watch, and actually like to talk about, rather than criticizing the gaming industry as everybody else. I enjoy a little bit more about talking about the art of making games. I enjoy, and I am way more interested in that than, gossips and sensationalism that other. Actually, that's the only reason why I do the other reaction videos of, hot takes and such. It's 'cause I just, yeah. I think there's got to be someone who stand up to these misinformations on the gaming industry, that only hurt the gaming industry. Um, and if I can do a little bit of that, I'll do it. I know I'm very small, but yeah, I'm no one, but I'll try. Okay, so that was it for this video. Thank you so much. I'm really bad at this, so go ahead, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the like button if you liked it. If not, also hit the thumbs down, because that's fine too, I guess. That will help me know what you like, what you don't like. So, yeah, take it easy. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.